While the Widemouth 2 fire continues to burn in Millard and Sevier counties, we put into perspective the amount of damage that has been done so far. Plus, a New Mexico judge orders Meta to pay $500 million for not protecting children on its platforms. What that means for Utah's lawsuit against the tech giant. And Utah's warm winter leading to a short supply of fruit this summer, why local farmers say they still need your support. And as you do your back-to-school shopping, get ready for some sticker shock. But consumer investigator Matt Gephardt, he is on the case. He does the shopping for you to see which stores will save you money.
Live and streaming, this is KSL News Now.
And good morning to you. Thanks so much for being with us on this Friday morning for KSL News Now. I'm Lori Pritchard. We're going to get to all those stories in just a bit. But first, Matt Johnson is here to talk about our forecast. We've got those smoky skies out there, a little bit better.
Yeah.
But still smoke.
We wish we could do better. But you know what? Less smoke is better than heavy smoke is what I've been saying this morning. And so plan on triple digits today and smoke hanging around through the weekend. Mountain thunderstorms, because of the monsoon, will start up as we head into southern and central Utah this weekend. And then next week, some of that monsoon moisture will find its way into the northern mountains. Valleys, still a big question mark. But for now, plan on cloud cover. I've got cooler temperatures as a result of that monsoon moisture, but we've got to wait a few days before that can settle in. Here's that smoke we're talking about. Air quality sensors are now into the yellow. So this afternoon, though, I think those numbers will come down a little bit, and some of us may get into the green category, which is good air quality. 73, 7 a.m. We've got 94 by the lunch hour. And then this afternoon, daytime highs around 4 or 5 o'clock, 103 is what I have slated. By 7 p.m., 100. So it's going to be hot for several hours today, between 4 and 7 p.m. at least. And the smoke out there, Lori.
All right, Matt. Wow. Okay, we're watching that. We're also watching this morning. The Widemouth 2 fire has now burned more than 105,000 acres across Millard and Sevier counties, with crews still working to protect nearby communities. Containment is at 19%, but hot and dry conditions are making this fight difficult. Some families near the fire are still packed and ready to leave if conditions change.
I've been nervous. I've never seen fire behavior like this in the 30 years I worked for the Forest Service.
Officials are asking residents to stay alert, watch for evacuation updates, and be prepared to go if needed. And as Central Utah leaders make resource plans, volunteers are pitching in by filling sandbags for their neighbors impacted by these fires. Delta City sponsored Thursday's service project to help out people in Kanosh, Meadow, and Fillmore. Residents in the small town turned out in pretty impressive numbers, filling about 8,000 sandbags. And the Black Canyon fire burning near Ephraim in the Manti-La Salle National Forest has grown to more than 2,100 acres. It remains 0% contained. The lightning-caused fire is active on all sides, fueled by hot, dry conditions. 2 Utah Army National Guard Black Hawk helicopters are helping crews, and evacuation orders remain in place for the Reeder subdivision. And firefighters are dealing with this. It's a new wildfire in Magna, one that came close to homes after it sparked on Thursday. Residents evacuated as the 22-acre cypress fire closed in. Fortunately, crews were able to stop that spread before it got to any buildings. Those evacuations were lifted a short time afterward. Utah Fire Info says that fire was human-caused. A summer outing ending in heartbreak after a young man drowned while swimming at Sand Hollow State Park. Officials say that 19-year-old man from Nevada was swimming near the dive park when he went under the water. He did not resurface. Bystanders jumped in and pulled him out. They performed life-saving measures, but he died at the scene. We're told he was not wearing a life jacket. Developing now, a landmark ruling against social media giant Meta. A judge ordered the social media giant to pay nearly $500 million for posing a danger to children. Now, back in March, a jury slapped Meta with a $375 million fine and civil penalties. On Thursday, that judge in the case ordered an additional $567 million for an abatement fund to cover treatment services for young people. Now, Utah has a similar case against Meta right now.
This will certainly have a huge impact on Utah's case, which is very similar to New Mexico's, virtually identical. It certainly gives Meta the idea that jurors are not particularly sympathetic to them and to what they're doing. and it gives other states sort of an empowerment.
Now, Meta has vowed to appeal the ruling, saying they remain confident in their record to protect teens. Turning now to health headlines this morning, there's new concerns emerging as foodborne illness outbreaks continue to grow across the country. Salmonella outbreaks tied to eggs, chicken, and jalapenos have sickened hundreds nationwide. Both Chipotle and its rival Qdoba announced they've stopped serving the peppers that were grown in Mexico. Researchers say when it comes to avoiding these types of foodborne illnesses, sanitation is key.
Salmonella usually comes actually from poor hygiene of people that might be handling the food or preparing, the produce. So they might trace it in one, restaurant to jalapenos, but the truth is, it can be in anything. So we can't live in a bubble.
Well, the FDA is now working to determine if any of the recalled jalapenos went to grocery stores. The CDC is now tracking 345 cases of salmonella linked to jalapenos, including 36 hospitalizations across 27 states. And there's one case, at least here in Utah. Neighboring Colorado has one of the worst outbreaks in the country, accounting for nearly 1/3 of all cases. New this morning, for those who use public transit, your trip could cost a little more next year. The Utah Transit Authority is proposing raising its base fare rate from $2.50 to $3 for buses, tracks, streetcars, and front-runner trains. UTA says that the increase would help cover the rising costs of operating, maintaining, and expanding transit service. If approved, that increase could take effect sometime next year, marking UTA's first base fare increase since 2013. Well, the fruit of summer's short supply this year, due in part to Utah's warmer than normal winter, along with a devastating April freeze that took out a lot of fruit. And with a great deal of those apples, peaches, and cherries that didn't survive, some Utah farmers had luck, and they're hopeful that they can still sell what they have left. Tara Wall and her husband Chris are just one of those local produce retailers, along with neighboring farmers in their retail store, Wall Brothers, The Barn.
We just asked the consumer, the Utah friend of ours, to come support us.
The Utah Farm Bureau said local producers need all of the support that they can get, especially this time of year. And Matt Johnson, we talked about that earlier in the season, about the raspberries that didn't survive, the peaches, the cherries.
Yeah, a lot of the fruit trees, unfortunately, got hit hard. And so we're not seeing a ton of that fruit. In fact, they were calling it a fruit tree famine this year in the state of Utah because it got really warm in March. Everything bloomed and blossomed, and then we brought a freeze in. Killed off everything. Just bad. Tremont to Brigham City, we've got smoke out there. It's in the moderate. And most of us seeing subtle improvement again since yesterday. And we'll continue to see improving air quality through this afternoon. But it's not going to be huge, right? It's still going to be hazy, but you'll probably see less smoke. And you'll notice here across the valley into Utah County dealing with that smoke as well. So this is what I'm talking about. Really heavy smoke from Washington and Oregon all the way into the northern Rockies. But from about the Idaho border down to Nephi, maybe even Scipio, we've got better air quality. Around the proximity of that Widemouth fire, you can't get away from it, right? You're really close to that source of smoke, so you'll likely see more of it. That continues for you folks in central Utah through Saturday. Northern Utah, we do get another round of smoke that kind of reinforces the thicker smoke as we head through the weekend. So 103 today, mostly clear. Mountain thunderstorms in central and southern Utah on Saturday. Up north, partly cloudy, 102. I've got a Sunday temperature of 100, 3 degrees cooler than today, okay, so that's nice. But the smoke is still here. We're going to start to see better air quality. We'll see southerly flow and monsoon thunderstorms next week in the mountains. We'll talk more about that coming up.
All right, Matt, thank you. Well, today is the last Friday before kids across the state start heading back to school. And with some of those kids hopping on buses and walking to schools, drivers just need to remember to slow down. That means putting down phones and paying extra attention in school zones. They're also encouraging parents to talk with their kids about e-bike and e-scooter safety and make sure helmets are part of that plan. For families with children headed to school, PTA leaders say it's important to know the safest route to and from campus.
You can learn, how does my child safely get to school every day, particularly elementary? Where do we walk? And there is a plan established in every school.
Parents can find those route plans on their school's website or by contacting their principal or PTA. A new report shows education costs in the classroom are on the rise. The U.S. Census Bureau tracks detailed spending costs per pupil in the classroom. That's basically how much it costs to teach each student. Now, because it's so detailed, it lags behind 2 years. But its latest report, the Bureau release, shows that 2024 was an historic high in terms of costs. Across the country, the per pupil cost was more than $17,000. That's up $1,100 from the previous year. Now, Utah has historically had lower costs than the national average. We spend less per pupil, but those even are on the rise. Early preliminary data this year shows the cost per student in Utah is just over $11,000. We lag $5,000 behind most states. Now, to foot the bill, roughly 3% of Utah taxpayers' income goes to funding education. As families grapple with rising costs on school supplies, many organizations are rallying to help fill those gaps. That includes the Salt Lake City Mission, but they need your help to make it happen. Today's the last day that the mission is collecting school supplies that will go directly to families in need. If you'd like to help, they're looking for things like backpacks, pencils, notebooks, calculators, really anything else a student might need in that classroom. Those supplies can be dropped off at their location. It's 1151 South and Redwood Road. The mission also says that they need monetary donations, and it's a great way to help them buy any of the items that aren't donated. So if you're interested, you can donate on their website, saltlakeCityMission.org. Their goal is to hand out between 1,200 to 1,500 backpacks this year. And take a look at this. Hundreds of people spent most of Thursday packing backpacks through United Way's annual school supply drive. Organizers say the need is bigger than ever.
We've seen a 30% increase in need over last year. So we know that things are getting more expensive. The need for schools to have supplies on hand for students is increasing.
Way hopes to help around 10,000 students across Davis and Salt Lake counties before the first day of school. Well, Utah families now hunting for those pencils and paper and backpacks. KSL consumer investigator Matt Gephardt found that the same school supply list can cost more than twice as much, depending on where you shop.
As we have every year for the past 7 years, we set out on an investigative shopping quest. The assignment, get everything on a back-to-school shopping list while spending as little as possible. Let's see how we do.
What do you think about back-to-school stuff being up already?
It's only July.
Well, the story's not going to air until August.
No.
I brought along 2 of my kids this year. They've now reached the age where they understand what is cool, hot, hip, neato.
Which of the ones that are $9.99 looks the most fetch to you?
And just as importantly, they realize their 45-year-old dad does not.
Wait, what are we getting?
Good question, pal. Using a list that we got from a local school teacher, we shopped several stores' back-to-school sections to see where we pay more and where we pay less.
55. 19, too much for a backpack.
The game is simple. Get everything on the list while paying as little as possible. Before we break down the numbers, a couple of observations that are maybe not surprising, but if you blink, you might miss them.
These ones are $5.
For the second year in a row, we hit the same speed bump at Walmart.
You want purple dinosaurs?
No.
What do you want?
Something the hedgehog.
After selecting the blue hedgehog backpack that was on a hook labeled for just $5, we made it to checkout and whoops, somebody must have put it on the wrong shelf because it rang up for 6 times more. Sorry, kid, you get the purple dinosaurs after all. Shrinkflation has also struck. One noticeable example at Dollar General. While the same price in years past, these notebooks had 70 pages, now they have just 60.
This water bottle is 1 cent.
And when shopping on Amazon.com, we discovered a water bottle for just a penny.
Should we get it? No, it's literally 1 cent.
A screaming deal until you get to checkout and realize that the shipping costs somewhere between $47 and $90 depending on when we want it. Yeah, we went with a different option.
You can hold it because I'm holding over here.
But the biggest observation is what it is every year. It absolutely pays to shop around. Here, you can cheat off our homework. Dollar General rang up at $27, but it was not a complete basket. Dollar General didn't have a scientific calculator, and as I said, the notebooks missed our page requirement. And that makes Walmart the cheapest complete stop at $30.28. Next, Target totaled $39.88, Smith's $48.43, Amazon $66.23. Yes, you sure pay for that convenience. Amazon cost 119% more than Walmart. It was also the most expensive option on 8 of the 11 items.
Ruler!
Other interesting outliers? Rulers were more expensive at every single store this year. And erasers, they were either the same price or more expensive everywhere we shop. Binders are the biggest budget buster. They were the most expensive line item at 4 of the 5 stores.
What do you think of your brother's colors?
Beautiful. Pink D, drink D, green D, green D, and black D, crack. And I love how he rhymes with it too.
As for total prices this year compared to last, well, they were both up and down. Walmart's cart dropped 26% from last year. Smith's was down 9%. Other stores went the other direction. Target up 2%, Dollar General up 3%, Amazon up about 12%.
Lightning bolts.
Does the lightning make you run faster? Should we find out?
Hopefully, this data is helpful to all of you parents and students as the first day of school is now sprinting towards us. And you know, with the price of so many consumer items being up, I was a little surprised to see that at some stores we actually paid a little bit less. It makes sense, I suppose. Back to school shopping is a big draw. Keeping prices on this kind of stuff down may even be a loss leader to get consumers in the door. Guys.
Get ready, get set, go. It is time for back to school, that's for sure. All right, let's get to Matt Johnson. Matt, I can see the smokes there behind you. We were talking about it a little bit earlier. A little better today, but it's still here.
Yeah, oh yeah. And you know, if you live in central Utah, of course, you are right near the main source of smoke within state borders, and that is the Widemouth 2 fire. You can see Marysville, Dana Binford sent this to me and said that the ash was falling out of the sky like snowflakes in summer. Really, really dense smoke down there in central Utah. So we'll continue to see that heavy smoke around the Widemouth fire. The rest of the state sees a little bit of a reprieve in northern Utah as far as smoke's concerned, but 2026, this year, our biggest fires, here's the list. Babylon, that fire down in San Juan County, 107,000 acres. Right behind it now is the quickly growing Widemouth 2 fire. 106,000 acres has already been charred. It will likely leapfrog today, the Babylon fire. Cottonwood fire, 97,000 acres, 95% contained. Iron fire, 41,842 acres. And the Cherry Creek fire, if you remember, out there west of Eureka, picking up 34,000 acres. So, man, these things are just running fast. I got a high pressure system that is parked over the state. That's going to keep things hot today. So we'll likely see a really active plume off the wildfire in central Utah once again. You've got some pop-up clouds, and not only that, but thunderstorms possible today through the southwest mountains. We'll do it again on Saturday, but partly cloudy in the north. We see a round of thunderstorms try to get going in the northern mountains, maybe even central mountains as well on Sunday. There's not a ton of moisture with them, but the chance for rain is there. We'd love to get one on top of the fire, but we do not want the flash flooding. Temperatures today, 100 degrees in Fillmore. That triple-digit temperature is going to help fan and fuel that fire today. 89 in Loa, 107 in Moab. You get the picture. 110 in St. George. Less smoke across the north. Temperatures will be running hot at or near record levels. 100 in Ogden, 93 in Park City, and 101 in Provo. St. George, you've got a 110 to 111. 107 on Sunday. And then look at this. Afternoon cloud cover each and every day. And triple digits soon turn to double digits as we cool things down a bit by next Thursday. Wasatch Front, you got 103 to 102. Sunday, 100. And then here it comes. Partly cloudy skies Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. 90s for highs, cooling to 92 by Thursday with a 30% chance for an afternoon pop-up.
All right, Matt, thank you. Finally, this morning, we are looking out for the good. In West Valley City, kids and teenagers are getting to interact with the local police department there in a positive and fun way. The West Valley City Police Department hosted its 5th annual Cops and Cleats Youth Sports Camp at Granger High School on Thursday. The free yearly event pairs with law enforcement and personal trainer sessions and about 100 kids for a special football training clinic.
We just want to be a part of the community. We want to be in the community. We want to give back. We want to help kids if they want to pursue sports. If they don't want to pursue sports, it's always good to get out and get involved.
The West Valley City Police Department also hosted free soccer and basketball clinics earlier this summer. The department said the turnout for these community-focused events has grown year after year. Well, thanks so much for joining us for this segment of KSL News Now. We leave you with a look of Salt Lake City waking up on this Friday morning. Have a great weekend, everyone.